So for the in-class activities, you should be able to submit this at the end of the semester, and you're going to be submitting this as a single file, one document, not a folder that has documents, but one document. All right, so my recommendation to you is to keep them separated for now and combine them into one document at the end of the semester. Did you hear this? So how many files would you be submitting? How many documents? Just one. Just one document at the end of the semester. But my recommendation for you to not get confused and to keep them as separate files. Each file is going to be for the different classes that you've been either listening to, if you are watching the recorded videos, or if you are attending the live meeting. All right, so keep them as separate files, and at the end of the semester, please combine them into a single file that you're going to be able to submit. For the lab exam, you can register, you can start the registration for taking this exam by end of the day on Thursday. And I will tell you how to register, everything that you need to know. I will be showing you all this at the beginning of next class. For the lab exam files that you've seen, you shouldn't be able to see them now. So please take a moment and double check if you still can't see this folder called Muscles Lab Exam on your files. The whole files thing should disappear from your account. Please take a moment to double check if you can see those files or not. You shouldn't be able to see them. So if you can see them, so double check now. Are you still able to see them on your account? The practice file is okay. The practice file is okay. Can you refresh your browser and double check it? All right, now the entire section, 4 files, should disappear. This is what I want, exactly. All right, this is what I want, for you to not have a problem during the test itself. All right, so yes, this is what I want. Files tab should disappear. All right, I need you to not see the files tab for the files to be shown for you on the exam. All right, this is what I want. You shouldn't be able to see them. You shouldn't be able to see them. All right, I will be adding, for those who did not complete the muscles review assignment, for those who did not complete the muscles review assignment, I will be posting it with the quizzes module. All right. For those who did not download this muscles review assignment that you did have a couple of classes ago, I will be posting this under the updated quizzes module. Right? Any other questions? Any questions? Any questions? QBanks, I will create a module for the QBank. So I will create a separate module for the QBanks. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? So again, next class, at the beginning of class, I will show you how to register for the proctored muscles lab exam. In the meantime, please make sure you are studying what we've covered in the muscles. So you should be able to start registering this Thursday, and it will be available for you to complete starting next Tuesday. And you're going to have 1 week to get it completed. The lab exam is going to be similar to the lab exams that we've completed before. So each one of them I will be showing you the list of choices that you're going to be picking the single best answer from. So again, when will the test be conducted? So you should be able to register to take the exam on Thursday. This is for the registration. You're going to be able to pick a time between next Tuesday and the following Tuesday to get it completed. So it's going to be available for 1 week, and you're going to have a registration open throughout the weekend before it becomes available for you to take. So it's going to be proctored through a platform that we're going to discuss the details for at the beginning of next class. So it's going to be a website called ProctorU or something like this. And ProctorU allows the student, allows you to attend the exam in a specific time that you're going to be registering for. And at the beginning, before the test starts, you should be able to show them your ID to make sure that you are the person who's taking the test. Close all the tabs on your device, and they will be proctoring using your webcam. All right, so you're gonna be showing them your ID. You're gonna be showing them around your device, so you can't have a book open next to you. So they will tell you exactly what you should be doing, and I will show you, I will register for an exam in front of you for you to know exactly what you should be doing. All right, so I will pass through the experience by myself first and what shows this to you. What muscles lecture that you want, Fabiana? What muscle lecture do you want me to upload? You mean the review, the assignment? This muscles this muscles lecture, it takes me 24 hours to upload the lecture on the Facebook group. It takes me 24 hours. Usually on the next day after class, on the day after class, you should be able to find it on the Facebook group. So for the lecture last Thursday, it was uploaded on Friday, and so on. For lost connection during the exam, I need to check this on personal basis. I'm not exactly sure how we can handle this, but they should have my number and they would be able to call me when you are taking the test for me to reopen it or to do something about it while you're taking the test. So the person who is going to be proctoring you is going to be the one who will contact me if there was any issue. To drop the lowest exam grade, you should be able to take the final exam. So final exam is a combined is a combined uh, exam formed of all the lab exams altogether. So at the end of the semester, you can take the final exam, and if you scored higher than any of the other lab exams that you've completed, you should be able to substitute this with your final exam grade. For the PowerPoint presentations that you can see on here, it should be, if you're looking at the Canvas page, on the home page on Canvas, this is what we are discussing. It's chapter 9. You should be able to download the PowerPoint presentation from the Canvas homepage. All right. All right, so you don't have to go to the files tab to download them. So you have them on here under the course modules. Fees are not waived for ProctorU. Fees are not waived for ProctorU. For summer classes, I'm not exactly sure whether we're gonna be back to college uh, during the summer or not. So if we're back for the summer, it should be conducted face-to-face on campus. If they didn't uh, allow us to go back to campus, I'm planning to do it the same way. How much for the test? How much for a fee is the fees for the exam? Is going to be around 20 something dollars. So how to sign up for the exam? It's going to be, this is what I will discuss with you at the beginning of next meeting for you to pass through the experience on my own and tell you exactly what parts you might have problems with and what mistakes you should be avoiding. For the fees, actually, the college has a problem with the budget. They don't have budget for them to sponsor those lab exams. It's not my decision to make. All right, the exam is going to be, who do you contact for what? I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you. This is this is an event that nobody was expecting. All right, for those decisions to be made. And even like online classes, if you have a proctored exam in an online class, the students are the ones who are responsible to pay for the proctored exam, along with other fees, other additional fees for the lab. So you're going to be getting the specimens on your own. It's going to be your responsibility to purchase everything needed for the dissection. It's going to be your responsibility to get to pay for those proctored exams. I will try my best to negotiate, but I'm not exactly sure how long will it take us to reach an agreement. So I don't want to delay the exam more than this. So how to register for the exam, this is what I will show you at the beginning of next class. All right. All right, so back to our, so for the exam again, as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna be able to start the registration on Thursday. It's gonna be available for 1 week starting the following Tuesday. All right, I will tell you the details again. I don't wanna waste more time on this topic right now. I will be showing you exactly what you should be doing next meeting. All right, is this clear? Cristiano Ronaldo, is this your name or you're just a fan? No, it's Cristiano Ronaldo 7. It seems that you are a fan here. All right, so moving back to our discussion here, excitation contraction coupling. This is the time between the action potential is propagated along the sarcolemma until it reaches the T tubules. Those electrical impulses that were propagating along the T tubules, they will reach, as you remember, the sarcoplasmic reticulum. This is where you're going to get the calcium released in the cytoplasm. All those events is what we're going to be considering the excitation contraction coupling. What is the role of the calcium? What is the role of the calcium here in terms of muscle contraction? In state of low intracellular calcium concentrations, the tropomyosin is going to be blocking the active binding sites on the actin subunits. So if you see on here, binding sites on the actin subunits are going to be blocked by the effect of the tropomyosin. And the myosin heads in this condition can't get attached to the actin subunits. Muscle fibers are, in this case, in a relaxed state. In case of high intracellular calcium levels, when I get this calcium released from the endoplasmic reticulum into the cytoplasm, the calcium again binds to the troponin. The troponin will change its shape, moving away the tropomyosin from the active binding sites. Cross bridges are going to be formed, and whenever I get an electrical signal, this electrical signal, when it sees the calcium that I did release out in the cytoplasm, is going to be pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and as a result, the contraction ends. So again, how the contraction takes place. If you remember, I've got the actin subunits, and those actin subunits will have binding sites. The myosin subunits will form cross bridges like this. Remember, what allowed you to expose the binding sites on the actin subunits is the attachment between the calcium and the troponin. This allows you to move the tropomyosin away from the binding sites on the actin subunit. What happens if you are not sending a signal to your skeletal muscle? You're going to be pulling this calcium back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum, to the inside of those flattened tubules. And this will allow the troponin to return back in its initial shape, getting the tropomyosin back to its place, covering the binding site on the actin subunit. All right. This allows the muscle to relax because the myosin head can't bind to the actin subunit anymore, as it's going to be covered with the tropomyosin. Is this clear? Anybody can hear me? Is the noise too loud? Can you hear any noise in the background? All right, great. So the simplest form of a muscle contraction is what we call the muscle twitch. What is the muscle twitch? This is the minimal muscle contractions that can be performed. A muscle twitch is resulting from a single stimulus, and this stimulus needs to be at least a threshold stimulus. What's a threshold stimulus? A threshold stimulus is the minimal stimulation that causes the excitation of a muscle cell to perform a contraction. So if I received a threshold stimulus, a muscle will contract. First, I start by having a lagging phase, a latent period. I received the stimulus, but there is no change in the tension of the muscle. There has been no reduction in the length of the muscle yet. And then after the latent phase, you're going to be passing through a contraction phase in which you're going to notice an increase in the tension of the muscle. Following the contraction phase, you're going to have the relaxation phase. What happens again during the contraction? I am releasing the calcium out from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. What happens during the muscle relaxation phase? During the relaxation phase, you are pulling the calcium back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. All right, so here I did release the calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum into my cytoplasm. This is what causes the sliding of the filament mechanism. And during the relaxation phase is when I will be pulling this calcium back to the sarcoplasmic reticulum, allowing the troponin to hide with the tropomyosin the binding sites on the actin subunits. All right. So again, what we're looking at in here is the minimal contractions that can result from a minimal stimulus. What do we call a minimal stimulation that causes the contraction of a muscle? This is mine. What do we call the minimal stimulus? What do we call the minimal stimulus on here? Threshold stimulus. Threshold stimulus. All right, so how do I change the grade of the muscle contraction? Is it essential for you to perform a maximal contraction every time you're going to be performing a muscle contraction? So if you are moving, if you are contracting your biceps, will you perform a maximal contraction of your biceps every time you're going to be contracting your biceps? What do you think? Try to contract your biceps now, holding a light weight, like a pencil or a pen. In order for you to move this load, this pencil, did you have to perform the same degree of muscle contraction, like if you are moving a table, for example, a much heavier load? No. So it's not all or none. It's not either you contract or you relax. You have a graded muscle contraction for your skeletal muscles. It's not all or none. You have different grades of the muscle contraction, graded muscle contraction. What's going to be determining how strong will the muscle contract? First factor is going to be according to the frequency of stimulation. What I mean by frequency? Frequency means how many stimuli did I get in a period of time. So again, if you get a single stimulus, you're gonna have a single muscle twitch, muscle contraction, followed by relaxation. What if you get more than one stimulus? Each stimulus is supposed to be followed by a contraction, followed by a relaxation, contraction, followed by a relaxation. But what if you don't allow the muscle to fully relax? I didn't allow the muscle to return back all the way to the base tension. I didn't allow a full relaxation to take place. And when I allow, when I get another stimulus, before I completely relax the muscle, what's going to happen? You will notice that the next muscle contraction going to have a much higher tension. What if I got another stimulus again before I completely relax the muscle? Next muscle contraction is going to be stronger. I will have a greater muscle tension in the muscle fiber. I didn't allow complete relaxation. I got another stimulus. So the contraction that follows the stimulus is going to be of greater tension, stronger muscle contraction. Why is this happening? Remember, what allows you to contract the muscle? If this is my muscle cell, this is my sarcolemma. I've got an electrical stimulus traveling along the sarcolemma down to the T tubules, and then through the T tubules, you're going to be opening the calcium channels that will stimulate the sarcoplasmic reticulum to release the stored calcium. And the calcium here that you get released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum is the one that will be binding to the troponin, allowing you to contract your muscle. So if I have ceased this electrical impulse, I don't have any more stimulation for the muscle cell, what's going to happen? Remember, in order for you to relax, you're going to be getting this calcium back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And this will reduce the amount of calcium available outside in the cytoplasm. So again, in order for the muscle to contract, you get a signal, a threshold stimulus, and this threshold stimulus is gonna be enhancing the sarcoplasmic reticulum to release the calcium out in the cytoplasm. In order for me to relax, in case if I stopped getting any further stimulation, I will be reuptaking this calcium back into my sarcoplasmic reticulum, dropping the calcium levels outside in the cytoplasm. What if I told you that a muscle contraction takes place when you get an electrical signal, X, this is my electrical signal, this is gonna cause the release of 5 calcium to get a muscle twitch like this. When I relax, how many of those 5 do you think gonna be moving back to the sarcoplasmic reticulum in order for me to relax? How many of those 5 calciums that I did release out of the sarcoplasmic reticulum need to move back to my sarcoplasmic reticulum? Five, all of them? Any other ideas? all of them gonna be moving back? All of them? Yes, all of them gonna need to move back. So in order for me to contract, I released 5. And in order for me to relax, I need to allow the same 5 back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So all the 5 need to move back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. What if I didn't give a chance for the muscle to fully relax? So I got a signal, I released 5. And in order for me to relax, I need to reuptake those 5 back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. All right, so what if I didn't allow a full relaxation to take place? So I've got a stimulus in here. After I only moved back 2 of the calcium. So I still have 3 outside in the cytoplasm. So how many calcium would I be having outside? If you only did allow 2 to move back. Here, I did allow only 2 to move back. So I still have 3 outside. So what if I get another stimulus? How many would I be releasing? I would be releasing 5. So how many calcium do I get outside now? I got 5 new ones and 3 were still remaining from the previous contraction. So now I have 8 calcium outside. So now those 8 calcium gonna be binding to 8 troponin, moving away 8 tropomyosin, allowing more sliding of the filaments. So before I complete the relaxation, here, I got another stimulus. So after reuptaking only 3 of those 8, so I still have 5 outside. I got another stimulus before I completely relax. So how many would I be releasing in response to this stimulus? I will release 5. So 5 new ones that will get released and 5 from the previous contraction. So you've got 5 new ones, 5 from the previous contraction, because you didn't reuptake those 8 back to the sarcoplasmic reticulum. You only did move 3 of them back. So I've got 5 old ones, 5 new ones. So this means I have a total of 10 calcium outside in the cytoplasm. So 10 calcium means you're going to bind to 10 troponin that will be moving 10 tropomyosin, allowing more exposure of the active binding sites on the actin subunits. And as a result, I will be performing much stronger contraction to the previous ones. So you see on here, if I have fast stimulation, I have higher frequency of the stimulation rather than having one stimulus and then allow the muscle to completely relax. I'm getting higher frequency stimulations, preventing a complete relaxation of the muscle. And if I prevent the complete relaxation of the muscle, this means that more calcium is going to be available outside in the cytoplasm in response to our next stimulus. And as a result, this is going to cause stronger muscular contraction. What if, rather than only having 5 calcium released, I got very, very, very fast stimuli to my muscle cell? So all the calcium gonna be released from the muscle. sarcoplasmic reticulum. A very fast stimulation. I didn't allow any relaxation to take place. And the muscle will be kept contracted until when? I have persistent contraction until I stop getting any further stimulations. Now the muscle will relax. So if I'm getting very fast stimuli to the muscle, this will cause continuous muscle contraction. And if I have a continuous muscle contraction, when will this stop taking place? Whenever you stop receiving those stimuli. Is this clear? Clear? Questions? The maximal contractions that you can simply find it once you fully activate the muscle. So, for example, if I am performing a muscle contraction, this is my biceps, like this, and I'm adding load to it. So you keep adding a load until you can't move the load. Once you reach the weight that you can't move, this means that you did perform the maximal tension. This is the strongest contractions that you can perform. All right, so you keep adding weight and test the muscle, whether the muscle will be able to carry this weight or not. If you did add a weight that the muscle can carry, this means that you've reached the maximal tension that this muscle can create. All right, is this clear, Hershey? All right, so also how to increase the muscles tension in relation to bodybuilding. We're going to be discussing the modifications of the muscles that are resulting from how you're going to be contracting your muscles. Yes, so the modifications that will be taking place in bodybuilding and in aerobic exercise as well. All right, so we're looking here at another factor that will be affecting how strong the muscle will be contracting. If you remember, inside the muscle, we've got muscle fibers, and those muscle fibers are going to be responding to the stimuli coming from the nerve cells. We call one nerve cell and the muscle fiber together. This is my motor unit. So each muscle is formed of multiple motor units. One of the factors that will determine the force of tension created by the muscle is going to be the strength of the stimulus. Remember, what do we call the minimal stimulation that can create a muscle contraction? This is called my threshold stimulus. Again, what is threshold stimulus? This is the stimulus strength at which the first observable muscle contraction takes place. This is a minimal stimulation that I can notice that there is a muscle contraction in response. All right, so what if I've got stimulation of the muscle, which is less than the threshold stimulus? It's weaker than the threshold stimulus. This is my threshold stimulus. What if I got a stimulus lower than threshold? Would I have any muscle contraction? No muscle contraction. No muscle contraction. So the strength of the stimulus here is too weak to activate any of the muscle fibers. None of the muscle fibers has been activated. All of the muscle fibers in this muscle haven't been activated. What if I get a threshold stimulus? If I receive this threshold stimulus to my muscle, this results in a muscle twitch, a minimal muscle contraction. Minimal observable muscle contraction is going to be my muscle twitch. And this is going to be due to the activation of a limited number of muscle fibers. So I get a limited number of muscle fibers that will get activated, and this results in a minimal contraction. Make sense? Make sense? So if I get stimulus weaker than threshold, would I have any kind of contraction in my muscle? Do I have any contraction in response to a stimulus weaker than the threshold stimulus? So no muscle contraction results from a stimulus lower than threshold stimulus. How about a threshold stimulus? Threshold stimulus creates a minimal observable muscle contraction, and it will be responsible to recruit the minimal number of muscle fibers to allow this contraction to take place. What happens if I get a stronger stimulus, stronger than threshold? What's going to happen as a result? More muscle fibers going to be recruited. And as more muscle fibers going to be recruited, a stronger muscle contraction will take place. What if I increase the strength of the stimulus? Stronger stimulation. What happens again? You recruit more muscle fibers. And the more muscle fibers that you can recruit results in what? Results in a stronger muscle contraction. I have a greater tension in my muscle. Stronger stimulus results in what? Results in recruitment of more muscle fibers. More muscle fibers recruited means stronger muscle contraction. All right, so the same way. So if I told you I would be giving everybody 1 extra credit point to, for example, do something out of ordinary, like pushing a wall. So I will ask you to push a wall. So for 1 extra credit point. So very few of you will be convinced with the idea, and they will take the point and will start pushing the wall. So I was able to recruit, let's say, 5 of you to push the wall for 1 extra credit point. What if I told you now you're going to have 5 extra credit points? So now I have a stronger stimulus. So rather than having only 5 people convinced to push the wall for extra credit points, I have more people. So let's say now I have 10 people that will be pushing the wall for 5 extra credit points. And how many participants on here? 25. So if I told you now I will give you 10 extra credit points to push the wall. So all of you gonna be convinced. So all the 25 of you gonna be convinced to push the wall. So this means that more or less tension will be applied on this wall that we are trying to push compared to having 5, compared to having 10. Do I have more tension or less tension applied to the wall? If you get 10 people pushing this wall, would you have more or less tension applied to the wall? More tension. You get more people recruited, more tension is going to be applied, right? More tension means more people have been activated, have been recruited to push the wall. What if I told you that now I will be given let's say 20 extra credit points to push the wall? Would I be able to create any extra tension on this wall beyond what I've got? Why not? Because all of you have been activated. All of you are already pushing the wall. All the 25 of you are pushing the wall when I give 10 extra credit points. So I have reached the maximal tension possible to be applied by you. So all of you have been activated at 10. So 10 extra credit points was your maximal stimulus. And this maximal stimulus did allow all of you, did make all of you up to, did convince all of you to push the walls. This means it created the maximal possible tension. The maximal possible tension in a muscle, if I received a maximal stimulus will do what? It will cause the recruitment of all muscle fibers located within the muscle. All muscle fibers within the muscle have already been recruited. This results in a maximal muscle contraction. What if you give me 20 extra credit points? Would there be any increase in the tension applied? Or do you have the same tension because you only have 25 people in the class? What do you think? Do you understand my question first? All right, so again, what we're looking at in here. So maximal stimulus will do what? Let's say 10 extra credit points is the maximal stimulus. It did recruit all of you, all the muscle fibers located within this muscle have been recruited, creating a maximal contraction. What if I did give stronger stimulus, stronger than the maximal stimulus? You're gonna still have the same number of muscle fibers recruited like the previous one, because simply all the muscle fibers have already been recruited. So if all the muscle fibers have already been recruited, will there be any increase in the tension in the muscle? Will I have any stronger muscle contraction? It's gonna remain the same. What is the maximal contraction again? Maximal contraction is the contractions that you're gonna reach whenever you recruit all muscle fibers. This allows you to reach the maximal contraction. What is the maximal stimulus? Maximal stimulus. It is the stimulus at which you're gonna be reaching the maximal contraction. Or in other words, the stimulus at which you're gonna be recruiting all the muscle fibers within the muscle. Questions? Questions? All right, so looking at another factor that also affects the tension of the muscle is going to be the size of the muscle fibers. How large is the muscle fiber? I have three sizes of the muscle fibers. I have small muscle fibers, medium muscle fibers, and large muscle fibers. The larger the muscle fiber recruited, the stronger the contraction will be. So the weakest contraction is going to be resulting from recruiting a small muscle fiber. A medium muscle size creates a medium contraction, and a large muscle fiber creates a strongest muscle contraction. It is the size principle. So muscle units can be larger, can have larger fibers than others. And again, the larger the muscle fiber, the stronger the contraction it can perform. So you went to the beach, right? I know that all of us are willing to go sometime soon or hoping to go sometime soon. And you are relaxing on the beach. After this amount of tension that we're passing through. All right, so while you are fully relaxing, or for example, if you don't want to go to the beach, you're relaxing in your backyard. while you are fully relaxed, is there any muscle contraction? Is there any tension in your skeletal muscles when you are fully relaxing? You're lying down, you're fully relaxed. Is there any muscle contraction in your skeletal muscles? Yes, no, no, yes. 5 responders, 6. Yes, no muscle fibers are activated. No, no muscle fibers. So no muscle contraction. No muscle contraction. All right, so actually, if you fully relax your arm right now and you touch your muscles, the muscles of your arm, you will feel that there is a degree of tension in your muscles. You still have some degree of muscle contraction even when you fully relax a muscle. Even when I fully relax a muscle, you're gonna still have some degree of muscle contraction. We call this slight contraction of the muscles. Even when I'm fully relaxing the muscle, it's my muscle tone. Why muscle tone is going to be important for us? Because remember the saying uh, that says, if you don't use it, you do what? If you don't use it, you lose it, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. Same for the muscles. If your body finds out that you are not contracting your muscle, you're staying home, you're not performing any activity, and you don't have any degree of contraction, even the muscle tone doesn't exist. So what's going to happen? Your body will consider this as something which is not useful and starts to break it down, break the proteins of the muscle to use it for other things. So if I don't use it, the muscles will be broken down. And this, what happens if for example, a person did break his arm and he put a cast on, what happens to the fixed arm that is not moving, that doesn't have any activity after he removes the cast? Would there be any difference between the size of the two arms? It's going to become smaller. It's going to become smaller. Why? Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Your body will start to break down the things that are not useful for you. So the muscle will shrink in size. All right, so what is the benefit again? It's to make the muscles to be firm and healthy. Also, they will be making them ready to respond. So rather than having to start from scratch, I don't have any tension in my muscle. And I don't have any muscle tone, and all of a sudden, here in your backyard, you find an alligator getting closer to you. So what do you want to do when you have an alligator getting close to you when you are relaxing? Run. You need to run. So which one is going to be easier? to start the contraction from a fully relaxed state or from a partially contracted state. So which one is going to be easier for you, to contract your muscles like this from scratch, or to start building on what you already have, this slight contraction that already exists in your muscle, which is the muscle tone. So it makes you ready to respond. You're ready to run. All right, so how to draw this? Easy, easy. Questions, questions? All right, so this completes our discussion for today. All right, I want you, before you leave, to get your opinion about how do you rate those online meetings out of 10. So I want you to rate those online meetings out of 10. So 10 will be the best, 0 is going to be the worst. So you don't benefit from those online meetings. So I want you, before you leave, to put a number that rates your, what do you think about this online meeting out of 10? All right, so give me recommendations on how can I make this better for you. So connection is out of my hands, Najib. Yeah, you all prefer like meeting in person, face to face. This is your concern, your main concern, but nothing I can do better for you. Like in our current situation, what do you think I should be doing to make it a better experience? Yeah, it's hard to stay focused looking at, yeah, I personally prefer going to a face-to-face class rather than online. Yeah, I personally have the same issue. So shorten the length of the class. I will think of this. I will try to check out how can we do it to be more focused. Yeah, video recordings are gonna be available within 24 hours of our live meeting. It just takes me a while for me to uh, to upload them. All right, so all right, thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you so much for the feedback, and we'll talk more about the upcoming lab exam at the beginning of next class. No, you're not required to attend the live meeting. You're not required to attend the live meeting. An ear microphone, I have the ear microphone, but the problem is when I stop using them to get them charged, they don't get reconnected. All right, so I will try to find another solution for the microphone. Get vaccinated. Why don't get vaccinated? Get vaccinated, Emmanuel. Get vaccinated. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It activates your immune system. All right. All right. Thank you so much for the feedback, and we'll see you on Thursday. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll be posting this review exercise for the lab exam under the quizzes, updated quizzes module on Canvas. All right. Stay safe. Have a good night.